Let's take a look at the Nashville Derby Invitational. It's a Grade 3. It's the eighth race on the Saturday card at Kentucky Downs. It's running a mile and 5/16 on the turf for 3-year-olds. And we want to make a couple of notes about Kentucky Downs because those of you who've played it before know this is an extremely unique track. It is very different than anything else any of the other American horses have run at. You've got a very short, tight turn, and then you've got a very wide turn. It's shaped like a pear uh, going into the stretch. And this stretch goes on forever, and it's uphill. There are undulations in the track. So this is a very challenging course. And we always want to think about horses who have run on this course before. And also, maybe the Europeans get a little bit of an emphasis because they've run on tracks that undulate quite often. So we take a look at this field, and this is a tough one. This is a pretty wide open race, I would say. We've got a couple of European shippers, Stromberg, Bellum Justum, and See the Thunder coming over from Europe. Then we've got some perennials from the 3-year-old turf division, Carson's Run, most notably, who just won the Saratoga Derby Invitational. Abramar and Navy Seal, who've made a little bit of noise for Chad Brown. White Palomino. Cameo Performance, a horse who just won his last race and did so pretty impressively. Laganos, we've seen quite a bit now that he's moved to turf for Steve Askerson. And Cugino for Shug McGahee, a horse who runs quite a bit on the front end. Now we take a look at this field, and as I mentioned, because the track is very tough on horses with early lick or horses on the front end, it's an extremely hard track to wire the field in. And if I look at any of these horses, I'm not sure I find one that probably has the stamina, has the ability to withstand all the challenges of the track and still take them home wire to wire. Of those, I like White Palomino as a horse, but also note that he comes up short quite a bit, and this is a very tall task. So I'm not very keen on many of the early paced runners. Cugino, a horse who kind of hard to trust. He always seems to come up short to a degree, and this is a bit of a class test, so I don't know how much I like him. Stromberg is trained by Joseph O'Brien, and I think if there was some give in the track, I'd like him a lot more. His better efforts have been when the turf has been yielding or soft. His last 3 efforts on good turf have been okay. I wouldn't say they were great. And 6-1 seems a little short for a horse we have questions about. However, he has run on undulating tracks before at Royal Ascot. So this may be something that he can handle pretty well and might be able to stick in there and hang in the mix. So not that keen on using him, but there it is. You know, if you want to give him a shot, okay. Of the horses who run off the pace, I like Bellum Justum the most. If you go back and watch his last race, it was almost a carbon copy of Kentucky Downs. It starts uphill, then it goes downhill, then it's uphill in the stretch with a big wide turn and a really long stretch. And he ran a solid race for third. He is a horse who's getting better. He seems to be progressing, and he's doing it on firmer turf. And as we know, these Europeans, when they move to the States, most of the time it's because they're going to get firmer turf. So I think Bellum Justum looks pretty good to me as the horse to beat here. He's a bit of a grinder, and I think that works well here. Normally on a shorter distance, on a totally flat track, I don't get as excited about it. But on this track in particular, I think it's a horse who can weather the storm, weather the challenges, and just keep going. So to me, Bellum Justum makes a lot of sense. Now, Carson's Run, of course, is a horse that proved me wrong. He did a lot better in the Saratoga Derby Invitational than I thought he would. His first 2 races at 3 were unspectacular, a little disappointing, but he's clearly made the turn, and on speed figures alone, he is the horse to beat. Just not sure about all the other challenges that are involved in running at Kentucky Downs, but he's certainly a horse you want to include as a late runner. And the same you can be said for Cameo Performance. I think this is a horse for Brendan Walsh, who's headed in the right direction. He had a nice win last time. He's going to have to get a little faster, but he is making that progression. And that Brendan Walsh-Tyler Gaffalione combination is always very good. It gives you a good intent of Brendan Walsh and what he thinks of this horse. So, and being an Oscar performance never hurts at all on turf. At 12-1, I think you're getting some really good value. So I think a Cameo performance is certainly one to keep in the mix. Now we go to our wagering strategy, and one thing I want to stress is because Kentucky Downs is so unpredictable and it is such a challenging track, I'm going to keep my wagering tight. I'm just going to go with a win bet on Bellum Justum, and then I'm doing exactas. I'm going to do a exacta key with 6 on top with 8 and 9. Then we're going to do a key box again because of the unpredictability of the track. We'll go 6 with 8, 9 in a key box. And then we'll do a 6-3 cold because a Navy SEAL is a horse that I love his pedigree for this type of race, for the stamina primarily. He had a pretty good effort last time. Came up a little bit short. That was the concern more than anything. But I think maybe this track picks him up a little bit. So we'll go. He needs to get faster too. But we're going to, at 20-1, I want to go with him. So maybe 6-3 cold we'll do, or maybe we'll just do a wheel with 6 on top with 3, 8, 9. But those are the 4 horses. I'm going to keep it tight, plant our flag, hope it comes through. And that's the way I see the Nashville Derby Invitational. Hope our analysis helps you with your own wagering strategy. Of course, we'll wish you the best of luck. You'll have more postings from me for Saratoga as well as Kentucky Downs this weekend. And we'll get something in for the Pacific Classic as well. So I'll talk to you soon. And until then, be well.